Hey, what is going on, everybody? How are you all doing today? I hope you all are having a wonderful and fantastic day today, and if not, hopefully you'll have a better tomorrow. So today, I wanted us to discuss, did it seem like Weiss may have had a one-dimensional fighting style in Volume 5? And I thought this would be something to bring up since Volume 5, the end of it, is still fresh within our minds, and, I just thought it'd be something to really kind of talk about, and I've seen a lot of people bring up Weiss and the whole thing with, how she fought in Volume 5, so let's go ahead and get started and talk about this. So, Weiss is one of my favorite characters. She is someone I really enjoy to watch. Her growth and her development as a character has been something I've really liked. I've really liked the way that she's, changed from Volume 1 to now, and it's been a very big growth. But there has been a problem with this. It's not her character growth per se, but it's more so her fighting style has been her problem. Because in Volume 5, it seemed very lackluster as opposed to the past. And yes, she has gotten better, but at the same time, it feels that Weiss has not done as good as she has in the past. And now, what I mean by that is, Weiss has really kind of more so depended upon her summonings now more than she has anything else. And yes, while her summonings are powerful and they are very amazing to watch, I mean, it's really cool that she can do this. The problem behind that is she just focuses so much more on that now. And of course, a big thing about her, with her semblance was her glyphs. One thing she focused on before her summonings because she did not believe she could do it like her sister Winter could, she focused more on her glyphs and getting better at using those. And now it goes without saying, she was very adept with her abilities of her glyphs. Very fast, very graceful. And Weiss has been a perfectionist. She's always been wanting to get things right and doing her best at it. That's always how Weiss has been. And she actually used her glyphs in a good offensive role as well as a good defensive role. She has been very supportive with her teammates, with Team RWBY, and showing that how she's been with her glyphs, she's actually really managed to support that team very well by helping, RWBY, for example, with, killing the Nevermore and, actually saving her from the Deathstalker. I mean, there have been times where these glyphs have helped her, and, not only do they make her faster, but they can be a power-up, like we saw with Blake, and, in Volume 2. And if you think about it, these glyphs, with her speed and her, ability to dodge, because she was very good in the past at dodging things. If something came at her, she could dodge it pretty well. I mean, yeah, she still got hit from time to time, but yes, she could dodge. And it showed that she was very good with her skills of how she fought. But that was not the only thing she used to help her with her fights. It's not just her semblance that she's relied upon, because, yeah, as the former heiress of the Schnee Dust Company, she used dust. And she was very good with her dust, and it's so strange that she went from using her dust and her semblance at the same time, which was a unique and very well performed combination. It's like that seemed to have really changed when we hit Volume 5. When Volume 5 came out, these differences really occurred, and it seemed like, she was more or less just using the semblance. And that's the only thing. She really just confined herself to the semblance when, of course, she has grown up using the glyphs as well as she's grown up using, the dust. And this is such a very drastic change. It's such a weird change considering that what she has learned. I mean, the glyphs have been defensive. The glyphs have helped her from attacks. And yes, we did see her use them, but it very well seemed clunky and slow. Like, she was very watered down. It's like what I said about Crow. Crow was watered down in the fight, with, I guess you could say the Haven Brawl that kind of went on. He was very watered down in comparison to what he was, and it felt like Weiss was the same way because she seemed very slow and sluggish in comparison to herself in the past, and it didn't seem right. With her using her glyphs, she should have been speeding around. She should have been more. She should have been using her dust more. And I mean, it's not bad that she has been training with her semblance to become better with it. I mean, it's not bad that, she's taken a note from Winter to learn how to use her semblance. But at the same time, there's more to that Winter was trying to teach her than just trying to evolve the semblance. It was to adapt to her surroundings, to adapt to fighting, in unique and different ways. It was not to just become one-dimensional and stick to just your glyphs. And it seems like, because, we did see a little bit of the training in Volume 4, and it makes sense that she was trying to work on being able to summon better. I get that. I'm not going to complain about what happened in Volume 4, but you would think she would have worked more on trying to put the glyphs and the dust more together with the summoning, and that didn't happen. I mean, she can fight without just the summoning as well. She could fight alongside it, and that didn't seem to really happen. It seemed like her biggest focus was to really just fight, using the summoning, and it was kind of a problem. I mean, yes, she jumped around from the glyphs, but the thing that I had a problem with that was not only was it clunky and slow in comparison to what it's been in the past, but Weiss has always been pretty careful when she used these. But the weird thing was she hit the pillar when she was fighting Vernal, and that didn't really seem like something Weiss would do. She would have, I would have at least thought from what Winter was teaching her, she would have been more aware to her surroundings, aware to her environment. And considering how she was trained, you would think she would have known better. And the fight with Vernal, and here's the problem with the fight with Vernal. The problem with the fight with Vernal is a bandit. And yeah, maybe she's had a bit of training with Raven, for all we know. I mean, maybe, maybe not. But, you know, the funny thing is, yeah, she was the decoy of the Spring Maiden, so she wasn't really the Spring Maiden. But here's the problem with this, is that in comparison, you look at Weiss and you look at Vernal, and here's the thing about this. Weiss should have very easily beat Vernal in comparison to how she handled the situation. I mean, yes, she relied upon the summoning, and the summoning would have helped if she got the situation right. And yes, she did create an ice wall to try to, allow herself to get the summoning out against Vernal, but she focused too much on that. And that was the problem I really had there. Yes, she did use her glyphs in this fight, but it wasn't like it used to be. It's not like where she would dash around. Like if you think about the lieutenant when she fought the lieutenant of the White Fang, she was dashing around, at high speeds. And you would think that, instead of getting hit by Vernal, you would have thought that she would have been faster and would have sped past this and just completely mollywopped Vernal. And instead, it's like Vernal just, she was watered down to the point where her and Vernal were on the same level. And I feel like that wasn't right. I just feel like it wasn't the right way to do Weiss in that volume. Like I feel like in volume 5 at the end there when she was fighting Vernal, I feel like um, she should have handled Vernal very easily, unless because if you think about it, she almost got killed. I mean, she almost died because the opening after she lost her aura, then Cinder just impaled her. That's the thing, is that Weiss, I would think, considering her training, the things that she's gone through, I would have thought that she would have been more aware of trying to keep her aura up. Even Beacon taught you that, oh, hey, you got to keep your aura up, or, you could die. And Weiss knew that. I mean, it's clearly obvious she knew this. And, she hasn't forgotten any of her past ways of fighting, her fighting style. There's no way you could have forgotten all that. You couldn't have forgotten the training that you had with your sister, in my opinion. And I mean, I just hate that it feels like Weiss just went one-dimensional. She didn't use her dust very much, in which she could have done that. She didn't try to power herself up with the glyphs when she could have. She didn't try to speed herself up with the glyphs when she could have. It feels like there were so many flaws within this, and this, like I said, it goes entirely against what Winter tried to teach her. Because Winter did try to teach her that not only should she try to evolve the semblance, in which she did, which was good, but it's not just being one-dimensional in your fighting style. That's what she tried to teach her. She tried to teach her to refrain from, just being, oh yeah, you have to rely on just one thing alone. No, it was to adapt to the circumstance, to adapt to what's going on around you, and to use your fighting style in a wise way. And obviously, if Winter was there, I'm sure she would have given her a fine lecture. But and that's the thing. I really enjoy Weiss, and she's, like I said, she's one of my favorite characters. But I hated really having to see her watered down and just put, in a place that really she didn't deserve to be put in. Like she was put in a situation that, it's like, oh yeah, Vernal was just, better, even though she really wasn't, and Weiss was just watered down to the point where it's like Vernal could just beat her, which made no sense. It made no sense that Weiss didn't depend upon her old fighting style, that she didn't use her old tactics like she used to, and be a good support, or be good defense or good offense, and instead just gets beat by Vernal. I mean, I would have understood if Vernal was at her power level and, something went from there, but that's not what this case was at all. It wasn't Vernal being the power level of Weiss, it was more so just Weiss being watered down and being one-dimensional in her fighting style. Let me know what you think down below. Do you agree with me that you feel like Weiss was underpowered and that she was watered down and just one-dimensional? Do you disagree with me? Do you think that this was perfect for her against Vernal? Let me know what you think down below. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. And like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and share this with your friends if you found this informative or useful. Well anyways, have yourselves a good one, everybody.